Oi, gente! Hello, everyone! Eu sou Virginia, sua professora brasileira. I'm Virginia, your Brazilian Portuguese teacher. Welcome to this class. I prepared a very special class for you, and this class is special because it's based on your questions. I received a lot of questions from you this week, and I'm really excited to spend some time with you today answering your questions. I believe that answering your questions is the best way for me to really help you with your very specific needs. So the entire class today is based on your questions that you sent in advance, but I'll also save some time to check the chat and see if you have any follow-up questions for me. So also please use the chat to interact. I'm going to be reading your chat, your comments throughout the class. So let's get started. Please tell me your name, de onde você é e qual é o seu nome. Let me know in the chat. Let me take a look here. Olá, I can see a lot of people. Tudo bom? Denis. Olá, Margos. Anete, Oscar, Cisca. Olá, olá. Jorge, Carole. Oi, Carole, Manfred. Andrew. Olá, bem-vindos. Bill de Palm Springs. Daniel. Olá, da Áustria. Olá. Ivan de Wisconsin. Stuart, olá, bem-vindos. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday with us, with me. I'm going to share my screen with you so we can get started. I have some, of course, exciting announcements for you. And so this is the big announcement for today. If you have been following me for a while, you know that I offer these premium courses. They include group classes that meet every week for 12 weeks, and the next cohort starts the first week of May, starting May 4th. So if you've been looking for a course to learn Portuguese with more structure and with the help of a teacher, and also being part of a community of other Portuguese learners, I highly recommend you take a look and see if you find this course a good fit for you. So I'm going to show you briefly where you can find information, and then I'm going to switch back to Portuguese, and we are going to talk about your Portuguese questions for about about 30 minutes. And then after that, I'm going also to address some questions that you have sent me about my school and my courses. So let's say about half of the class will be focused on Portuguese questions, and the other half will be focused on how I can help you learn Portuguese. If that sounds good, I hope you stay with us until the end. So you can just scan the QR code if you want to learn more about our premium courses. Registration is now open, and you can just also go to our website, speakingbrazilian.com, and /premium to learn more about this specific cohort of premium courses. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share my other screen with you. So this is the page where you can find all the information you need about my course, and as I said, I'll spend some time the second half of this class talking a little bit more about it. But if you just go to this page after the class, you can see all the information, all the courses we offer. You can also have an idea of the curriculum, levels, prices. Everything is on this page, speakingbrazilian.com /premium. We offer courses for all levels. So if you just scroll down here, you see, if you click enroll now, you see all the courses that we offer. And I'm going to show you one image that shows you the path that you should follow. Where is this image? I think it's up, and I'm just going to show you each course. So the first course you take is the essential course for beginners. As the name says, it's for beginner level students, but also recommended for those who have studied a little bit of Portuguese using apps, or you have studied a long time ago and you need to brush up on your Portuguese. So this is the course that I recommend for you. It's really comprehensive, and it will teach you everything you need to know to get started and to have a solid foundation in the language. After you finish this first one, the second one will be the pre-intermediate workshop. This course builds on the first one, right? So it will you will review the basics and also get introduced to more intermediate level content. The classes are also more interactive. You have like breakout rooms to practice with other classmates. And then the third one would be the grammar and conversation workshop. This, as the name says, is very focused on grammar. So you go deep into intermediate and some advanced level content in this course. And after you finish these 3 programs, each one of them, they take 12 weeks. If you take with group classes with us, you have the option to sign up for these courses in the basic plan, and take this course completely self-paced by yourself. Of course, you receive a lot of support from our team always, but if you join the group classes, you have even more support because you have like regular classes with your Brazilian teacher. In our group classes, they are very small, 4 to 8 students, so you really have a lot of support throughout your journey with us. After you finish these 3 courses, which will take you about 9 to 12 months, I say 9 to 12 because some students, they take a break between one course and the other. Then the next one would be the Speaking Brazilian Academy. The Academy is a membership program that focuses on developing fluency. So this program works if you it's to practice. So you learned everything, all the basic of the vocabulary that you need for the most common situations, all the grammar, but now you're still not fluent, right? Fluency takes time and a lot of practice. So that's why I created this Speaking Brazilian Academy, to give you this place where you can go every week and just sit down with a group of people who love Brazilian Portuguese just like you. And each month we have a different topic to discuss. Each week you receive a different material to engage with Portuguese in the class. It's a really fun program, and this is the one that you should join after you have really learned the foundation of the language, to practice Portuguese in a more natural setting and develop fluency. I will spend more time at the end of this class answering questions that you have about my programs, but I just wanted to start giving you this basic information about them, okay? So let's go back to our document. And I want to see also if you have any comments here for me. Let's see. Oi, Cristina, tudo bom? René do Michigan, olá. Rosário, tudo bom? Kiki, so good to see all of you in the chat. Okay, so let's get started. Are you ready to learn some Portuguese? Vamos lá, vamos começar. Okay, of course, I always forget to mention things that are right here. So enrollment for the next cohort is open starting today and will be open for 1 week. So enrollment closes next Sunday, April 26th. If you're not sure about what level is right for you, what course is right for you, you can take a placement test. You find this placement test also on our website. And of course, as always, we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. I always offer this guarantee in all my courses, so you're completely safe to try and can sign up, go to classes for a couple of weeks, and if you realize that it's not for you, you can always request a refund. You can also request to switch classes or switch levels. Just email us and we'll help you find the best solution for you. Vamos passar para as suas perguntas. Let's move on to your questions. So the first question that I'm going to address is from Manfred. I think I see you in the chat, Manfred, right? I think it's the same person. So this question is very interesting. It's about possessive pronouns. One interesting thing is that you call it possessive adjectives. In some languages, we use this term, right? Possessive adjectives. In Portuguese, we call these terms pronomes possessivos. We call them pronouns. They can be adjective pronouns or noun pronouns. Very complicated grammar stuff. You don't have to learn these complicated grammar terms, but what you should know is that when you talk about pronomes possessivos, we're talking about those little words that indicate possession, right? Ownership. There's this relationship. This belongs to this person. So these are some examples of pronomes possessivos: meu, minha, seu, sua, nosso, nossa. There are others, but these are the most common ones. And Manfred's question is related to when should we use these pronouns with or without the articles, right? The definite articles. This is a common question because you see a lot of things, right? You see people using it, you see people not using it. So when do you use it? The answer is really it's optional. That's why it is confusing. That's why should I use it? Should I not use it? It's optional. Both with or without is correct. There is no, both ways are grammatically correct. So there is some difference in regions. So I would say that, for example, in São Paulo and Rio, I think most people would use the article in front of the possessive, but in Bahia is less common. People use the article less often, but both are completely correct. I'm going to give you examples. So these are definite articles for those who don't know. The little words o, a, which in English would be the, right? But if you translate adding the article into English, it sounds weird, right? Because the way that we use articles in Portuguese and in English is a little bit different. So this example, vou visitar minha amiga. I'm going to visit my friend. Vou visitar a minha amiga. Same meaning. There is no difference in meaning. Both ways are correct. So the use of the article here is optional. It's regional. Completely correct. Second example, vou visitar meus amigos. Now I'm using the plural masculine, right? Meus amigos. Here I'm using the feminine, minha amiga. And also with the article, vou visitar os meus amigos. Really, there is no difference in meaning and both ways are correct. That's it, Manfred. Vamos para a próxima pergunta. So let's move on to the next question. So I received this question a lot. So this question from Keith. Are there any tips to better understand Portuguese when they speak fast? Brazilians speak really fast. And also I added this other question from Willie, how to improve my speaking, because I'm going to give you a tip that works for both, for listening and speaking. Of course, there are very different skills that you have to develop. But if you do this exercise, shadowing, you will practice both. So I think it's a great exercise because then you will improve your listening, which will help you understand when Brazilians speak fast. Of course, it's a long journey. You have to really practice a lot to really train your ear. But also you can combine that with speaking. So you're working on both skills. So I offer, I think, at the beginning of this month, we started this challenge called Listen and Speaking Challenge that focuses on shadowing technique. We are on day 19 now. It's no longer open for enrollment. But this exercise is really helpful, and research shows that it really works, that really people can really improve listening and speaking. So a couple of tips on how to do this exercise. Start with input, right? Listening. So I recommend you listen every day to Portuguese, at least 10 to 15 minutes, but not passively, like actively. Put it on and really pay attention. Because if you can listen to it passively for a longer time, let's say 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, as much as possible. Of course, it's good. It's always good to get a lot of input. But at least for 10 to 15 minutes, like actively, really paying attention and trying to understand the words. What is the ideal material is that one that is slightly above your level. It's tricky to find the perfect content. You just have to continue looking for it. You can start with my YouTube channel because I speak at a pace that is not too fast, and then if you find, you can also adjust the speed of the videos on YouTube, right? You can make it faster or slower. So for example, when I'm doing this exercise with Italian, I make it 0.8 so it's not too difficult. So you can do that to find the perfect spot for you. So the ideal audio is that one that you can understand the main idea, but you don't really understand all the words, and that's fine because you learn a lot by context, and that's the perfect audio to really challenge you and help you improve. I recommend you listen to the same audio many times. Unless it is too easy, then just look for another one. But if it is challenging, you can listen the first time, just listen, pay attention to the sounds. And then the second time, read and listen at the same time. So it's really good that I really recommend that you find materials that include the text so you can read and listen at the same time, so you can connect the sounds with the words. YouTube is always also great. On my YouTube channel, I add subtitles, so you have the text there. You can also download the transcripts from my podcasts if you want to use my podcast. And then third, listen 1/3 time without reading, and then see how much more you can understand now that you have listened 3 times. And the fourth exercise would be the shadowing technique, which you can combine with all these other ones that I said before. You can do play the audio and repeat, imitating the pronunciation, the intonation, everything. There are many ways that you could do this. You could do like sentence by sentence, phrase by phrase, right? You can play, pause, repeat, play, pause, repeat. Or you can, for intermediate level students, I recommend doing closed shadowing, which is just play and repeat immediately, and do that for about 10 to 15 minutes. It's really intense because you have to pay a lot of attention. Don't worry if you miss some words, it's fine. Doing this exercise will really help you really pay attention to the audio, stretch your listening skills, and also practice speaking, automating your speech. I hope this helps. I do have other videos on this on my YouTube channel. Just look for shadowing or imitation technique on my YouTube channel to see more exercises and also downloadable material for you to practice. And of course, we do practice this in our courses as well at Speaking Brazilian School. Okay, great question. So I'm going at a fast pace here because I'm trying to answer as many questions as possible because I received so many questions from you. So the next one is from Roland. Okay, so this question from Roland is another one that I receive a lot from intermediate level students, right? You have that feeling at the beginning that you're learning a lot. Oh, so many words, and now you're speaking, you can create sentences, and then after a while, you feel like you're not learning anymore. You feel like you're stuck, the famous plateau. This is common. Everyone goes through that. So the first thing to know is that it's not your problem. This is like a natural part of the process of learning a language. That happens because after you learn all the most frequent words, the other words you see less often. So it's harder to learn new words after you reach a certain level. It's completely normal and natural. And also grammar, you learn after you see the most frequent used grammar. After a while, the most advanced ones you don't see all the time, people don't use all the time, so it's really hard to learn because you need much more effort. So my tip, my recommendation to you, Roland, is to first work on your mindset, because in my opinion, if you just relax and engage with Portuguese in a way that is meaningful to you, doing things that you enjoy doing. Read books, watch movies, go out with your Brazilian friends if you do have Brazilian friends. Listen to podcasts that you find interesting. Don't think about learning if you have already reached like an intermediate level and you feel like you plateaued. Relax a little bit about learning, just focus on having fun, and I promise you, you'll learn a lot naturally. That's how language works. You learn naturally if you are in contact with the language regularly, in a meaningful way, in a way that makes you happy and you're enjoying that content, enjoying the book. Also, of course, you should challenge yourself because you need an input that is both enjoyable and challenging. Because if it is too easy, obviously you will not move up. You continue in that place, right? So I would recommend combining different types of input: reading, listening, watching movies, which is the same as listening, but you have also the visual part, which also helps with the understanding. I also recommend adding writing and speaking. You can practice the shadowing exercise that I just mentioned before to help you with audio. If you combine the shadowing, you really develop listening and speaking. And if you choose audios that are a little bit challenging for you, you will learn a lot doing this exercise if you do this regularly. Also writing, just write on a journal about your day. That will challenge you to remember words and to use new words that maybe you have never used before. And if you write it down, that will help you really acquire and remember that word. Okay, that's it. If you also forgot to mention this at the beginning, in the chat, if you want to help me answer all these questions, feel free to add your comment. You're all language learners. You all have a lot of experience to share. So feel free to help me answer the questions. What other tips would you give to Roland about how to pass this plateau time if you have passed through this? What else would you say to Roland, and also what else would you say to Keith and Willie about practicing listening and speaking? Let me know in the chat. And also for Roland, for those who feel like they are plateaued, I really recommend my program, Speaking Brazilian Academy. I think you were a member a long time ago, Roland. I don't know if you are the same Roland. But the Academy is a program that will really help you reach a higher level if you stay for a long time, because learning a language is not fast, right? So especially when you reach the plateau, you need a lot of practice and time, and you really need to challenge yourself. So the Speaking Brazilian Academy is it's the program that we apply everything that I just said, right? So you learn Portuguese by being immersed in Portuguese and engaging with the language in many different ways. So we bring different topics, so you have to challenge yourself to talk about a different topic that you have never discussed before, so you have to use new vocabulary. And it's also fun because you're just hanging out with friends. So if you feel like, not only Roland, but anyone who's listening, if you feel like you are in an intermediate level, you just need a place to really practice Portuguese and develop your fluency, the Speaking Brazilian Academy is my favorite program. My students know that. And it's a really interesting, and it really feels like a community, right? Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to the next question. Vamos para a próxima pergunta. You can read the question while I get some water. So this question from Annalise. Olá, Annalise. It's really interesting, your question, Annalise. I'm going to answer in two parts. So when do adjectives agree in gender with the following word, and when don't they? In Portuguese, the terms that we call adjectives, they always agree in gender and number with the noun. So this is a rule. However, this word that you mentioned, the word muito, is a tricky word. It looks like an adjective, but it's actually not. And that's why it's confusing, right? So the word muito, it's actually an adverb or a pronoun. So confusing, right? So when we use this word as an adverb, it doesn't change. It's invariável. And when we use it as a pronoun, it does change, variável. So this is when it looks like an adjective, right? So I have a tip, so you don't have to remember all these crazy grammar words. Adverbio, adjective is so complicated. So think about the meaning and the use of this word. So we use the word muito when we want to talk about intensity. It's just like the word very in English. Oh, this is very. So when you talk about intensity, this word does not vary. It's always the same. For example, ela é muito bonita. She is very pretty. So I'm making the other word more intense, right? I'm giving intensity to this word. Ele é muito bonito. He's very handsome. So you see that I'm using a feminine word here and a masculine word here, but the word muito does not change, right? I could also add like a plural here. Let me write it down. Eles são muito bonitos. And also a feminine plural. I could also add elas são muito bonitas. So whenever I use the word muito to give this intensity, it works as an adverb and it does not vary. It's always muito. When you mean very in Portuguese, in English, in Portuguese will be always the same word muito. However, if you mean quantity, if you mean to say a lot of something, right? More than many things, a lot of things. You're talking about quantity, not intensity. Then is when this word varies. I'm going to give you some examples. Tem muitos carros na rua. There are a lot of or many cars on the street. Tem muitas pessoas na festa. There are a lot of or many people at the party. Okay, so here we have, it will vary in gender and number, meaning it will change if it is masculine or feminine or plural based on the noun that comes right after it. So the word carro is a masculine plural noun, so I have to say muitos. The word pessoas is a feminine plural, so I have to say muitas. So there you go. I hope this helps, Annalise. Próxima pergunta, next question. This question is so interesting, Jade. How do expressions like acabar de chegar work, and how is the verb acabar used in different contexts? This is interesting because it shows how the same word can have many different meanings, right? That happens in every single language. Not all words have many meanings, but many words do have many meanings, and this is one of them. So acabar, the most traditional meaning of the word acabar is to finish, to end, or to be over. Something's over, something's done, acabou. It's similar to the verb terminar, which is also used many times interchangeably with acabar in this sense. For example, o filme acabou, o filme terminou. So the movie is over. But then we also use this verb in some expressions, and this is when it gets interesting and then the meaning changes. So the expression that you mentioned, acabar de chegar. So here, if you use the verb acabar with the preposition de right after it, followed by a verb, it means something that just happened. And it's usually used in the past tense. You could use in other tenses, but this is the most common use. Eu acabei de chegar. I just arrived, or I just got here. Acabei de chegar aqui. Just got here, I just arrived. So acabar de means I just was, and then you just add another verb. Of course, it can be used for another person. Ele acabou de chegar. He just arrived. So this is this expression, right? Something that just happened. Also, this is another one, just to give you another use of the word acabar. Many times we use this verb in the past tense, plus the gerund in Portuguese, the ing form in Portuguese, and the meaning would be to end up. For example, ele acabou mudando de ideia. So I'm talking about a change that happened. So he ended up changing his mind. So it's similar to English, right? You see that you're also using the verb to end in Portuguese, in English. And acabar means end, but here's an expression to end up is different from end, right? So same thing happens here in Portuguese. There you go, some 3 uses of the verb acabar. Of course, I recommend you look for more examples so you can have a bigger idea, but these 3 uses, they are very common in Portuguese. Próxima pergunta, next question. Pergunta do Gary. Regarding a gente versus nós, would it sound strange to only use a gente and never nós? I remember that you wrote more things, more context, but I forgot to add to the document. You said that your friend gave you some opinion that I don't recall. But in short, yes, both ways are used. It's not strange at all to use just a gente. A lot of people use just a gente because it's just simpler. It's simpler, easier to use. The conjugation is easier. So I would say that the phrase, for those who don't know, the phrase a gente means the same as nós. So in terms of meaning, it is the same, right? So a gente. I'm going to write here. I'm going to bring this to the other page so I have more space to write. Okay. So we have nós means the same as a gente. 2 words, right? 2 words. A gente. The word gente by itself means people, is used in different contexts. I'm not going to cover all this now because it takes time, but I do have a video on YouTube about these two pronouns. It's a pronoun phrase, right? A gente. You can look for this video on YouTube to see more examples, but in a few words, the meaning is the same. It means we. But really, really pay attention to the conjugation that comes after it, because gente is a singular term that refers to a group, but since it's a singular term, the conjugation must be in the third person singular form. So, a gente vai viajar. We are going to travel to Brazil in May. A gente vai. And nós is a plural pronoun, so we should use the first person plural when conjugating the verb. Nós vamos viajar ao Brasil em Maio. Both ways are completely correct, grammatically correct. There's nothing wrong with using a gente. I would say that a gente is more common in colloquial language because it's easier to use. The conjugation is usually easier and shorter. Nós is also very common. A lot of people use nós. So I use both. Sometimes I say a gente, sometimes I say nós. Both sound very natural to me. Both are grammatically correct. I've heard some conservatives, like Portuguese grammar conservative people don't like the use of a gente, but this is a very old idea because a gente is already, you can already find this term, this pronoun phrase in grammar books. It is completely acceptable. There's nothing wrong with it. So that's my opinion. Also, when you're learning Portuguese as a second language, there's so much you have to remember and think about. So I would not stress about this. Don't stress about it. Just choose one and use them and use it and boom. And don't stress. It's important for you to understand both, right? When you listen, but when you use, you can just choose one and stick to it, so you don't have to think too much when you're speaking Portuguese. You have to remember a lot of stuff. You should make your life easier. I hope that helps. Okay, so it's 1:30. Let me take a look at the chat and see if you have any questions, comments for me, any follow-up questions regarding all these topics. I cannot read all the comments at once, but when I say now I'm going to the comments, now it's the moment that you can maybe type your question, or you can copy and paste if I have not seen a question that you typed before, okay? And then then after that I'm going to move on to the next part of our class. I'm taking a look at your comments. Oh, wow. Oh, it's important to take breaks. Okay, so of course you should get a lot of input, but don't exhaust yourself. Go little by little, take breaks. We all need breaks because otherwise you get this cognitive overload and you don't want that. You need a good night's sleep. You need to rest your brain so you can learn. Oi, Manfred, que bom que você tá aqui. Sim, você também pode dizer eu vou visitar os amigos. Yeah, you can remove meus amigos. Totally, you don't have to say. It really depends on the context. Sometimes you have to say meu or minha to be clear, but in this context it's kind of implied they're talking about your friends. Em relação, I think you mean like regarding, em relação a isso. I don't know if that's your question. Ah, que legal, Chiquititas. Really been helping me with shadowing and listening. Que legal, oh, that's a tip for everyone who's looking for content to practice shadowing and listening. Obrigada. So your wife suggested, I don't know this program, 10 minutes a day, and then Turma da Mônica. I love Turma da Mônica, it's super fun. It's a comic book. It's really cute. I used to read it when I was a child. I love children's book when I'm learning a language. It's not super easy, but it's easier than adult books, right? And it's fun, usually fun. Oi, Carla, que bom que você tá aqui. Yes, this is very useful, right? Adjusting the speed. It makes all the difference. It makes all the difference. So remember, if you feel like, oh, Virginia, you're speaking too fast, just adjust. Adjust the speed and look for the perfect speed for you. Listening to MPB with lyrics, I love that tip as well. So look, it's really easy to find the lyrics of Brazilian songs on Google, so you can read and listen at the same time. It's good practice. Yeah, it takes a lot. It's really tricky as well. I agree with you, Timothy. It takes a lot of practice, but also you can just adjust and find how it works for you. Maybe phrase by phrase. Just do what feels like that works for you. Sometimes you just have to adapt. Not adapt yourself. Adapt to the technique to what works for you. Brazilian Portuguese runs through words into another, unlike Spanish. Oh, that's so interesting, because I feel like in Spanish they also mix everything. But yeah, I think this connecting words is common in most languages. English is also like that. French. Yeah, you have to train your ear. It's tricky, especially without the reductions and the connections that Brazilians make. I really think that shadowing and imitating can really help you recognize the chunks of words, recognize the boundary of words, especially if you read and listen at the same time. So if you cannot really separate the words when you just listen, reading and listening at the same time will help you make that separation. And then listen again without reading a second time or a third time. And then you see that you understand much better because you just read the text. So I think that's a good training. I've heard good things about Good Morning Veronica. That's a good Brazilian TV show, right? That would be ideal, right, George? Unfortunately, not everyone has Brazilian friends. That's why I recommend the shadowing exercise so you can do by yourself. Watching talk shows, boa dica. Carla, I love the classes. It's very helpful. Muito obrigada, Carla. Carla is our student at Speaking Brazilian Academy and I also take the grammar course, right, Carla? Obrigada pelo carinho. Let's see if I have any questions that I have not answered. Oh, Christina, this is a long topic, but most of the time we use the pronoun before a verb, and in Portugal they do place the pronoun after, right? So, vou te visitar or vou visitar-te. In Brazil, we would never place this te after. We always place it before. Vou te visitar. Não vou te visitar. So the negation, you just place the word não before the verb. In this case, we have actually a compound tense, right? Vou and visitar, we have two verbs. So the não comes before and the te goes between, as the way that we wrote is correct. Just remove the a. We don't use the preposition a before verbs in this structure here. Eu vou te visitar. Eu não vou te visitar. Muito means very. Demais means too much. But the word demais is also an expression, and depending on the way that you use, could also be a positive thing. Could be if you say, this person is demais, ela é demais, I mean, not she's awesome, she's great, she's incredible. So, but if you're using in a sentence, for example, eu comi muito, I ate a lot. Or, eu comi demais, I ate too much. So demais could mean too much. Muita coisa is also correct. A lot of things, yeah. Many times we use the singular form instead of the plural with the word muito, muita. Great questions, everyone. Deixa eu ver means let me see. It's a fixed expression. We use this all the time. Let me see. Deixa eu ver. So here is actually a very advanced term is personal infinitive after the pronoun eu. Deixa eu ver. Amelia, this is also a very long topic, but I do have a video about the prepositions por and para on my YouTube channel, so I recommend look for it. You find it, just go to my YouTube channel and look for the search tool and type a keyword and it will pop up, and then I have a video that I explain all the differences between por and para. I highly recommend that video. It's also on my blog, and also you can download a PDF with exercises for you to practice. Obrigada, Tim. I love when you help me answer questions in the chat. Muito bom. Oh, this is a long topic, so I'm not going to cover this today. I do teach in detail how to use these object pronouns in the course Grammar and Conversation Workshop. I don't recommend beginner level students focus on this because it's really tricky for beginner level students. But we do cover this in detail in our Grammar and Conversation Workshop, which is a B1 level course, an intermediate level course. This is completely normal mixing. You know that I'm learning Italian, and since I started learning Italian, my Spanish is just like, I just stopped because I cannot separate them in my brain. It's so hard. But you know, I find that if you just focus on one language at a time, it gets easier. Just focus on one at a time. And if you mix up, it's fine. Just laugh and move on and correct yourself. And then continue doing the exercise. Pay attention to the differences. Pay attention to the details. If someone corrects you, make note so you can remember it. Don't make that same mistake again. Be careful with fossilization, right? Be careful with making all the same mistakes over and over. Whenever you make a mistake and you realize you made the mistake, make note of it. Pay attention to that so you don't make that same mistake again. I think that's my tip for you. But it's normal. It's part of the process. Take a deep breath and continue. Oh yeah, this class is being recorded. You can watch a recording later. Thank you for joining us. It's so late for you. Olá, Jade, Jade. In Brazil we say Jade. Ao Brasil ou para o Brasil, both ways are correct. Great question. So there is I think that most people would say para. Por exemplo, eu vou para o Brasil em maio. Ao Brasil sounds a little bit more formal. There is some difference in meaning in the grammar books, but in reality, we don't really make any difference. So the difference would be that you go ao Brasil if you're going for a short period of time, and you go para o Brasil if you're going for a long period of time. But Brazilians don't really follow that rule. So I would say that when you're talking about a movement from one place to another, you can use a or para interchangeably, in my opinion. Excellent questions, everyone. I won't be able to read everything because it's a lot and I want to continue. We have some questions here to address. But thank you so much for sending me your questions. How do you pronounce li? Li, li. You have to slide. Li. The top. You have to touch your tongue on the top of the mouth and slide it. Li, li, li. It's tricky. I've got this question so many times. Okay, everybody, continue chatting in the chat, help each other. So there are many advanced learners in the chat as well, so you can please help the beginner level ones with their questions. While now I will continue with the questions that I received in advance, and we are going to talk now more about the course and the program. So if you want to learn more about our courses, I'm going to answer these questions now. So I have received this question from Celina. What do speaking Brazilian programs look like, and what are the differences between them? And also from Nikki, how it works, timetable, prices, etc. So basically how it works. So in general, I want you to know that we offer these 4 main programs. There are other small challenges and small crash courses, but these are the main ones. And these are the ones that we offer group classes together with the program, right? So you can really have the support of a teacher. So the first one, the essential course, beginner level content, very comprehensible. You'll learn all the first 5 main tenses, present, past, future, the other second past tense, and also the conditional tense, everything, and all the basic content. You need vocabulary to talk about your everyday life, your work, travel. It's really, really comprehensive. And then the second one, the pre-intermediate workshop, is like a combination. We do a review, because if you don't revise, if you don't go back to it, if you don't review, you forget. We need, like, the repetition is so important when you're learning a language. So we do added repetition in all our courses, but always adding something more, right? It's not always the same. So when you review the content from the essential course at the beginning of the pre-intermediate, we're using different materials. We're making you practice more, learn more vocabulary, and practice in a different way. So it's not always the same, but we're adding more information and vocabulary and practice. And then in the second half of this course, we introduce you to more intermediate level content, more complex grammar, and also there is more practice, speaking practice than in the first course. We do have speaking practice from day 1 at the beginner's course, but since students are beginners, they're just learning, it's a more slow pace speaking practice. And the second course, we try to challenge students a little bit more. And then in the third course, the grammar and conversation workshop, we really focus on grammar, and then we also have breakout rooms so students can practice speaking, always with a different topic, so we can engage with the language, not only grammar, but also themes, and so we can also have this develop fluency. And the Speaking Brazilian Academy is the place to practice conversation. It's a mix of levels starting from B1 to C1. So if you can already understand and speak Portuguese, and you know you have a good knowledge of grammar up to like a B2 level, B1, B2 level, you can join the Speaking Brazilian Academy, because from here you will develop fluency in a more natural way, with a lot of practice and conversation practice. And we don't focus on grammar, but we do cover grammar in our Q&A sessions, and also whenever you have a question, you can always bring to your teacher and she will help you in the class. So I think this is the main difference. The time for each course, so we start group classes the first week of May, and classes go for 12 weeks for these first 3 courses, right? And then the Academy is a membership. So in the Academy, you can stay 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. I recommend you stay for these 3 months to really see the results, to really see any improvement. But you could try for a month and stop if you want. Many students, they already joined the yearly membership, so you can stay for a year. You can really decide what works for you. And if you go to our website, which I'm going to show you again, is speakingbrazilian.com/premium, you see the tentative schedule. So this is the schedule for the Speaking Brazilian Academy, for example. So you have many options. You cannot choose the option before you sign up, but you can choose as soon as you sign up. So as soon as you sign up, you receive, you'll be directed to a page where you can choose your schedule, your teacher and your schedule, and that will be your schedule every week. But if you need to change, just email us. We can switch you to another class if there is availability. We are very flexible, but you just have to reach out to us via email. And for the other classes, we have less options, but these we always have at least 3 times, so we can have students from different time zones. So for example, if you live in Europe, you probably would like to have classes, the essential course, the Friday 12 p.m. would be the best one for anyone who lives in Europe, because the other ones are at night, New York time. So our schedule is based on New York time. just to have like, we need to have like one time zone fixed to organize our schedule. But when you click here and you click to see the schedule, it will translate into your time zone, so you can see the options based on your time zone. What else? And prices also, you can see on this page. You see we have for a single course, this is the price now for a 12-week course. This price includes a digital course that by itself costs $297. So really what we charge extra for the group classes is not much. So this includes the digital course, and you have lifetime access to the digital course, plus 12 weeks of live sessions in small groups, 4 to 8 students, plus Q&As with me every Saturday. And the Q&As are, I'm answering questions just like I am today, but in the Q&As, we spend like 2 hours together every week, and it's via Zoom, so it's much more interactive than this class. So in this class, I can only see your comments, but via Zoom, I can see you, you can unmute and speak, so it's much more intimate, it's much more interesting. I love to see my students' faces every week. So everything included in this price, okay? What else? In the Academy, also if you're starting now, if you want to really no, I want to learn Portuguese for real, I'm sure of it, I want to commit for 1 year, for 9 months to 1 year, I recommend the Essential Bundle, because the bundle includes the 3 courses, the 3 core courses, and you get a big discount. So you get 300 off. So it's almost, you get almost like half, 50% off one of the courses, and then you commit, and you can organize your schedule little by little, because each course has a different last 12 weeks. So at the end of each course, I will email you, giving you more information about the next steps, and then after 9 months, 12 weeks each course, you'll be completed these 3 courses. And we'll also, of course, help you if you need to repeat one of them. If you need more support, I'm always available to help. So, and also just to finish, the Academy is a little bit different, right? Because the Academy is not a 12-week course, it's a membership, and you can choose to pay monthly or per year. It's more affordable, but please, if you have not studied Portuguese enough, this program will not cover grammar in a structured way. It's more like in a more natural way, so it's more through input and immersion and conversation practice. So I recommend this program if you have already reached like an intermediate level, or if you're an advanced learner who wants to just practice. If you cannot use verbs, if you cannot really talk about using Portuguese yet, if you're not comfortable in a class that is 100% in Portuguese, the Academy is not for you. But if you're looking for a place to just practice Portuguese while you're having fun and develop your fluency, even you don't have to be fluent to join the Academy, you just have to be able to understand Portuguese, and you don't have to understand fast Portuguese. You have to understand Portuguese at a medium level, and be able to speak about things also at you need to be conversational. So this program will really help you achieve a higher level, develop your fluency, learn more, be in contact with the language in many different ways. You will practice speaking, listening, writing. You have a community to support you. We will go deep into grammar topics in our Q&A session, so you can also, you can review grammar and also learn things, new things. This program is for those people who are looking for this support and community to bring your Portuguese to the next level. And it's a membership. You can stay a member as long as you want. There's no minimum commitment. You can stay for 1 month, you can stay for a year, or I have some students who are members for many years now, because it's fun. You go, you make friends, and you're always practicing Portuguese. So it's a way to never forget your Portuguese. It's always fresh in your mind. Okay, so I think I answered this question, right? So you saw the prices, you saw the tentative schedules, and if of course you can always go to this page to see more information about also the curriculum. And if you have questions, just email us. You'll find the contact in our website as well, and I'll be happy to help you to answer any questions that you have. Obrigada, Carla. Yeah, you can also there's a placement test. When you go to this page, you can click to take a placement test. But if you go to a class and you realize, oh, this is too difficult, this is too easy, just email us and it will help you find the best class for you. What's the other question? Próxima pergunta. Pergunta do Josh. At which level of classes that you offer would I be able to live independently in Brazil? This is such an interesting question. So I think it really depends on your needs. So if you just need like a survival level just to not get lost in Brazil, I think if you just take the beginner's course and then after 3 months, you'll be able to, okay, at least you're not completely lost. At least you know the basics. You know how to say thank you and obrigada. You know how to say excuse me, com licença. You know how to order food. You know, like the basics. So at least that before you go to Brazil, I highly recommend. Of course, you don't want to go to Brazil and speak nothing because most Brazilians don't speak English. So I would recommend, if you really want to live in Brazil, at least the first 2 courses that we offer, the essential course and the pre-intermediate, to get to that survival vocabulary. At least the first one, but if you can get at least the 2, because you need more. In 3 months, you can learn a lot, but you're still not like being able, it's really hard to really use what you just learned. You need practice, and that's what the pre-intermediate workshop will give you. So that will help you order food, ask for direction, go shopping, but it will still be hard to do like more complex things use the language for more complex situations. So for that level, I would recommend at least a year of study. So recommend completing the 3 main core courses from our program, including the essential course, the pre-intermediate, and the grammar workshop. And I would also add a few months in the academy to get that speaking practice, to really prepare to go and live in Brazil. So this will give you really help you feel more independent in the language, right? Make friends, rent an apartment, and everything that you have to do in your life. But of course, to be really fluent in the language, that takes a long time. Usually, most studies show that at least 2 years to achieve fluency, sometimes more. It really depends on how much time you can put. So my recommendation, if you're looking for how our courses can help you, would be start with the essential bundle. If you don't want to commit to the essential bundle, start with the essential course, and then if you like it, you can move on to the next and the next. The essential bundle is a really good option if you're really sure you want to learn Portuguese. It's not just for fun, you're really learning, you want to learn Portuguese for real. This is the best option for you because you get a big discount and you really commit to complete the program. And it takes 9 to 12 months and you have a very good foundation of the language. And then the Speaking Brazilian Academy, if you want to achieve like a good level of conversation, I would suggest at least 1 year in the academy to really see results, because fluency is not, unfortunately, it's not something that comes fast. You really need a lot of time and practice. So from my experience, if you take our core courses, which take about 12 months to complete, and then 1 year in the academy, most students who did that, I would say like all students that really completed all these courses in 1 year in the academy, they are all like reached a good level in Portuguese. They can go to Brazil and they can communicate. Of course, some students still need more practice. You always need more practice, but you can have a life in Brazil. You can talk. You can, be independent. Okay, that's it. I talked too much. Other questions that I have here, we're almost done, and then I'll go back to the chat and see if you have any final questions for me, okay? Question from Yahya, do you do live streams every week? So I'm not really sure if you're asking about these live streams on YouTube or in our courses. So I do these live streams on YouTube Usually every other week. It's not really fixed. I like it. I love it. So usually I'm here. But if you sign up for my newsletter, you always receive an email with an invitation so you can come to our live classes. But if you join one of our premium courses, you have regular classes via Zoom, which is much more interactive. So you have group classes once a week with 4 to 8 students maximum with your Brazilian teacher and your classmates, plus a 2-hour Q&A session on Saturdays with me. It's much more interactive than this class, as I mentioned before. So next question from Cisco. Are classes interactive? Do students communicate with each other or just with the teacher? Yes, our classes are very interactive. Students do interact with each other from day one. Of course, at the beginner level, the teacher is managing the interaction, because if you're just learning, you don't really have your language resources to interact with each other by yourselves. So the teacher is managing, right? It's a lot of scaffolding but there is interaction. The teacher is managing, giving you small assignments, and then you are always interacting with other learners. And then the more advanced the course gets, the more interaction there is between students, because students feel more comfortable speaking. If you go to academy class, students, they speak all the time. Some teachers are very flexible and they allow students to speak among themselves for a long time. There's a lot. Our classes are very interactive. Another question from Manfred. Hey, Manfred, how many teachers do you have and from which part of the country? Oh, I love this question. So we are 7 teachers in total, including me. So I'm from Teresina, Piauí. It's from the northeast Brazil, although my accent is mixed because I lived in many other parts of Brazil. We have Gleice from Rio de Janeiro. Actually, I'm going to show you their faces. I think it's better if you can see them. Let me see, where are they? So we have Gleice from Rio de Janeiro, here on the left. Monica from São Paulo City. Venus also from São Paulo. São Paulo, I say city because we have the city and the state. Gabriel also from São Paulo. Annelisa is from Curitiba in the south. And Thalita is also from São Paulo, but not from the capital, it's just from the state. So they're all very experienced and they all trained. So we all aligned and they all use the same materials. Great question. And when you sign up, you can choose to have classes with one of them, and you always have classes with me if you come to the Q&As. Another question from Josh. Are outcomes better with the 12 classes? I mean, you're asking in comparison with the self-paced course, right? So the question is yes, definitely. Research shows that learning with teachers is much more effective than learning by yourself. Of course, there's a lot of learner differences. If you really like studying by yourself with a self-paced course, there's nothing wrong with that. And maybe some students will learn best that way if you feel a lot of anxiety if you're in a group with other people and in a teacher. So if that is your case, then maybe learning by yourself would be better. But in general, most people benefit from having a teacher, right? So you can have feedback you can really practice speaking. You can have feedback on your pronunciation, your speaking. So and this is supported by social cultural theory from Vygotsky, which is very known, a very known theory. So question from Keith, are there any one-to-one tutoring sessions available? Also question from Bob, yes. You find everything about our private classes program on our website, speakingbrazilian.com/private classes. Just go to our website and you find everything there. Okay, I answered all the questions that I wanted. I will go to the chat now, so you can stay for a few minutes if you have time. So I'm going to take a look at the last minute questions that you have. Just before you go, remember, if you liked what you heard, if you like to learn Portuguese with us, take a look at our programs. You can just scan the QR code or just go to our website. Enrollment is open now until April 26th, so 1 week until next Sunday. And then I have to close enrollment to organize students. We do offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there is no risk. You can sign up, try, see if it's for you. If you change your mind, just email us. Have a question that I have not answered, please email us at school@speakingbrazilian.com. We answer every single email. Okay, I have my dear client care manager, Aline, answering every single email that we receive. Now I'm going to your comments to see if you have any last comment or question for me. Thank you so much for joining me today. Olá, obrigada. Obrigada por estar aqui, Humberto. How many days a week in the academy? So 1 day a week in your small group plus the Q&A session with me. So all students, you can always have like 2 classes, one within your small group and plus the Q&A with me, which is also another class. If you can come to both classes, that would be ideal. Some students cannot attend the Q&A and it's fine. You can watch a recording if you want. See if there's any last minute questions here. I don't see any questions, but there's sometimes a delay. All right, everyone. Obrigada, Humberto. Que bom que você gostou. Okay. Olá, Andrew. Andrew was also our student at Speaking Brazilian Academy. And you speak Portuguese really well, Andrew. Thank you for being here today. Pará is such an amazing place. I've never been. How long is the weekly class? Each class lasts about 1 hour, 55 minutes to 1 hour. Sometimes teachers, they have 2 classes in a row, so that's why it's 55 to 1 hour. I find this is a good length because you don't get too tired, because it's very intense. You practice a lot, you have to speak a lot. And then the Q&A is 2 hours. But the Q&A, you can come for the entire session or just 1 hour of each, because the first hour of the Q&A focus on beginner level content and the second hour on intermediate and advanced level content. And the second part of the Q&A is 100% in Portuguese as well, so it's very intense. Question from Stuart: how does the beginner course differ from the free YouTube videos? It's very different. So there's a lot of structure that you don't find on YouTube. YouTube is more like everywhere. You have to create the structure yourself. When you join the course, it's lesson 1, lesson 2. It's very structured. There's a very clear path to follow, and I think that makes all the difference. You have assignments every week to complete, and you do receive feedback on your homework assignments. Even if you join the basic plan without live sessions, you have feedback from your homework assignments. And if you join the premium plan, you have extra feedback because we have another place where you can also do homework, which is on our Telegram group, where you can interact with other learners and the teacher 7 days a week. Also, you have quizzes. It's very different. It's a really structured course. And on YouTube, you can learn a lot from YouTube. There's a lot of content there, but you have to be more self-sufficient to learn by yourself and see what you have to do in the order and all that. Yes, the Q&As are always on Saturdays from 12 to 2 p.m. New York time. 12 p.m. from 12 to 1 p.m. beginner level content, from 1 to 2 p.m. Intermediate and advanced level content. I changed a few times in the past, but I stayed in this sweet spot and works for me and works for a lot of students. If you cannot make it, you can always watch a recording. The recording is always available. Actually, we record all classes, so if you have to miss a class and if you cannot switch to another class that week, which is also a possibility, you can always watch a recording. Great questions, everybody. Hey, que bom, Cisco. We do have another cohort in the fall. So we only offer these courses 3 times a year, February, May, and September. So this is the second cohort. I'm pretty sure I saw another question here. Oh yeah, Professora Venus also speaks Spanish. She can help you with your Portugal. How many true hours a week do you prefer to expect from students? True hours, you mean Do you mean including everything, including like the content that you study by yourself in self-paced format? It's a good question. I think it differs a little bit from each course, but for example, if you join the Essential course, our courses, they are all a combination of a digital course and the live sessions, right? So I recommend you study the lessons by yourself as much as possible before you go to a live session. In the live session, you can practice. It's more like a practice session. So for the Essential course, it takes about 2 hours a week to complete all the content. So it's a very, really comprehensive, a little bit intensive course. But that's what you need, right, to learn a language. If you just study for 1 hour a week, it's really not enough. So you have 1 hour a week speaking practice, but you have all this material to study at your own pace. And that takes about 2 hours a week. For the academy, is less than that. For the academy, is like 30 minutes to 1 hour a week extra, because it's more like for more advanced learners who don't really need to study a lot. But for the beginner level, I would say 2 hours a week, plus the live sessions. I don't think any of our teachers speak German. I'm trying to learn, but I'm being a very bad student. I hope in the future I can say, oh, ich spreche Deutsch, aber ich spreche kein Deutsch. Muito bom, ótimas perguntas. Thank you so much, everybody, for all your questions. I hope. Obrigada. Muito obrigada pelas suas perguntas. Just checking if there is any question that I've missed, que eu tenha perdido. Muito obrigada, everybody. I think we're going to finish now, but if you have any question, if I missed your question in the chat, I'm sorry. It's really hard to see everything, but you can email us, okay? Just email us, school@speakingbrazilian.com, and we will answer any questions that you have about our courses. I hope you enjoyed our session. It was a pleasure to spend some time with you today. Tenha lindo domingo, beijo e até a próxima. Tchau, tchau.